my loves. Welcome back to the Balance Blonde podcast, Soul on Fire, where we talk about everything that sets our souls on fire and helps us live our most passionate, most aligned life. I've been doing so much deep thinking and reflecting about what makes me happiest in my life and what my soul came here to do on this earth and accomplish and experience and connect about and share with everyone, meaning all of you and so much more. And truly, having this podcast is what my soul came here to do. And it's such a good feeling to be able to express that and be here and connect with incredible guests like today's guest of the show, Dr. Mike Dow, who I've had the pleasure of meeting. Thank you to our incredible mutual literary agency. Shout out to Sarah and Celeste, two incredible humans who've impacted my life and Dr. Mike Dow's life quite a bit. We have so much gratitude for both of you. And I'm just so happy because meeting Dr. Dow, Dr. Mike, I don't know what to call you. I'm going to call you Mike. I feel it was so aligned and I learned so much from him. So together we will all learn so much in this episode. I was already such a fan of his work because I've seen him on TV. My mom has watched him a lot on TV. He's been on a ton of different TV shows, from Dr. Oz to The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and beyond. He has many, many best-selling books, including his latest, which is Your Subconscious Brain Can Change Your Life, which is a fascinating book that I devoured in the week leading up to him coming here, that talks about all the different subconscious visualization techniques that we can use to rewire our brain. And through this technique that he developed, people are healing from addiction, from disease, from chronic illness, from depression, anxiety, autoimmune diseases, Lyme disease, so many things. And I got to experience this firsthand with Mike when he was here recording. You guys will hear in this episode, not only did he hypnotize me, but when he hypnotized me, he led me through a visual guided meditation and we flipped some switches in my brain. And I truly can tell you that I did feel quite a bit better and more energized after that, which was my intention for the technique, the visualization technique that we did. So since we are so lucky to have him here on the show, leading me through a hypnosis, I just encourage you when you listen to have yourself in a comfortable place. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast while you're driving, that's fine too, but just really get in the zone and tap into what he's saying here and let it impact your body. Because I deeply believe that what he shared with me and what he led me through is something that you can also feel hypnotized by and walk through it yourself. So I feel like he gave us all the gift of hypnosis on here. I think his work is so cool and powerful. And as you'll hear in this episode, he also has done a lot of research on assisted hypnotherapy with psychedelics like ketamine and psilocybin and MDMA. And if you listen to this show frequently, then you know psychedelics have been a huge game changer in my own healing journey, from ayahuasca, plant medicine. Thank you, ayahuasca. I'm just coming out of a beautiful ceremony weekend that was so healing, to ketamine, which I've done in the comfort of my doctor's office, IV, to psilocybin, which I've done super intentionally and has been such a healing game changer in my own healing journey from chronic Lyme disease. So Mike and I are cut from the same cloth, and I'm so thrilled for you guys to hear this episode. Before we dive in, I would like to thank our sponsor for the show and also tell you, so we have 3 sponsors today. We're going to talk about one of them right now, and we're going to talk about the others in the middle of the episode. But in the middle, I just want you to know that you're going to hear about my favorite favorite beauty brand, OSEA Malibu. So stay tuned for that because we have a special code for you guys. The code is blonde. They're a new sponsor. So I wanted to put that on your radar. We'll talk about it in the mid-roll, but I can't wait for you to listen. And thank you to our first sponsor for today's show, Thrive Market. Thrive Market is the ultimate game changer in online shopping, especially online grocery shopping, as they're an online marketplace for everything your soul could ever desire. All the healthy foods. I actually just emerged from this ayahuasca ceremony weekend, and so many people there, like since this is a group of very healthy people coming together from LA and San Francisco, you can imagine people were bringing their own Thrive Market brand grain-free granola, Thrive Market cashew butter, which I'm pretty sure I ate the whole jar of. So thank you, Kristen, my friend leading the retreat, because that was so delicious. And now I can buy it on Thrive. It was just Thrive Market's signature brand. So before I go further, I want you to know that you can go to thrivemarket.com/blonde to check out all my favorites on Thrive and also receive $35 off of your first order. Or is that 25% off of your first order? I'm looking at it now. And everything on Thrive is very, very, very much marked down to begin with because they go straight to each brand rather than speaking with middlemen. The prices are not way jacked up, for lack of a better word, as they are at so many healthy grocery stores and different places where I too shop quite a bit. But when I shop on Thrive, I'm saving a lot of money and I can stock up on so many of my favorites, especially pantry items that last for a while, like my favorite Thrive brand spirulina, artisanal coconut butter, which I just lathered on some paleo toast this morning. That was so good. I get Hudson's cat food and cat treats on here. It's a brand called Organics, which you can find on my favorites page. They also have many of our favorite TBB approved brands like Four Sigmatic, Cocoa Kind, Sun Potion, Eating Evolved, Siete, Artisana, like I mentioned. The list goes on and on and on, actually. They have Ayurvedic soap and tongue scrapers, which I use every day. So head to thrivemarket.com/blonde to shop, get an extra discount on top of their already quite discounted prices, and enjoy. And without further chatting on my end, let's head into this episode with Dr. Mike Dow. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
I've heard so much about you from our mutual literary agent, Sarah, who we're both obsessed with.
Yes.
Sarah and Celeste, we love you guys.
We love you.
I'm so happy that we were connected through them because that introduced me to your work.
Yes.
I've been reading your book, The Subconscious Brain Can Change Your Life.
Yes.
I've been literally highlighting it and taking notes because there's so much to learn, the scientific aspect of, I feel like, everything that I've been so into spiritually for so long. Everything that I'm reading in your book reminds me a lot of what I've discovered on my own through meditation and plant medicine and things that have really expanded my subconscious.
Yeah.
So if you could just give our listeners a little insight onto you and this book and your work, that would be incredible.
Well, I was just so happy to be asked to come here because I know you and we have mutual friends and we're so like-minded. And, just before we started recording, we're talking about our love for infrared saunas, which, and meditation. And, whether it's in an infrared sauna or meditation or spiritual practice, there's so many things that there's so much those things have in common with hypnosis because they're all sort of shifting your body away from that fight or flight and into that rest and digest, which is essentially what hypnosis is. I was at this conference and I was talking to Dr. Mercola and he's like, "Oh, that's what hypnosis is? Can you hypnotize me?" I'm like, "Oh, absolutely." And we found a little side room and I hypnotized him and he was like, that was incredible. And he's like, I didn't want to come out. And that's the number one thing I hear from people, like, oh, I didn't want to come out. That was so enjoyable. Like I was so relaxed. And when you're that relaxed, anybody who has a chronic condition or just the everyday stress of life or migraines or IBS or Lyme disease, it really can allow the body to heal. And more than just allowing the body to heal, it can allow the brain to rewire in ways. And, in the front cover, this was my favorite part is, my own brain scans, I mean, so they're so pretty too. They're pretty, right?
The colors.
And you can see, here, you can see the prefrontal cortex lighting up when I'm using my own protocol versus here where there's no activity or blood flow in the prefrontal cortex.
That's so interesting.
It's fascinating, right? And I feel like the science, and of course here, like the alpha and theta brain waves. So you can really see the brain. The EEG is showing that the brain is slowing down and it's going past. So, meditation will take most brains into that alpha, which is pretty slow and relaxed. But, my protocol and hypnosis will take the brain into that really slow theta brain wave.
Right.
And when you're in that brain wave, you can do all sorts of magical things. So I'm sorry, I didn't talk about my, who I am.
That's fascinating. But wait, just a quick question on that. Is theta where we go when we're sleeping?
It's where you go when you're dreaming.
Okay.
So when you fall asleep, your brain, so the brain waves go from fastest to slowest, gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta. So when you're falling asleep, you're going from like beta or alpha as you're relaxing, and you'll pass through theta briefly down to dreamless delta. But then as the night progresses, your brain goes back up into theta when you're dreaming. So it'll pop up from delta with no dreams up to theta when you're dreaming. And a lot of people say that in deep hypnosis, it feels like a dream that you have control over. And that's true, according to EEG. And we know that theta can also, for people with, let's say, PTSD, it allows the delete button in the brain to work so you can get rid of memories. You can access memories more readily. And you can rewire the brain depending on the condition or your goal. Whether you just want to build a business or work out more, or you have something more serious going on. If you have some chronic condition like migraines, or lower back pain, you can rewire the brain. So, I was really called to write this book. This is, I've written lots of books, and this is my first one on hypnosis. I actually stumbled into hypnosis because one of my best friends lives in Austin, Texas, and I love that city.
Me too.
And I needed continuing education for my license. And I saw this like American Society for Clinical Hypnosis in Austin. I'm like, okay, like 4 days in Austin, that would be kind of fun. I'm like, but I don't think I believe in hypnosis. I've never done it. So I go to this training, the beginning track, and I've gone all the way now. And the first day, we have to go into practicum with each other. And it's, this training is only for doctors and dentists. And I go really deep into this trance. And I was like, what was that? That was intense. That was crazy. And I just knew that I could help so many people with it. And when I came back, right away, I started using it in my practice. I went all the way up and got the advanced training. And I read every research study, every book. I'm a part of that society now. And it's just incredible. And I've helped people to do things in my practice that would usually take me 20, 40, 50 sessions. I mean, there was a man I treated, a celebrity, and he had a history of abuse. And then we did it again. So like in 1 to 2 sessions, his PTSD was, I would say, 80% better.
Wow.
In 1 or 2 sessions. So that would have usually taken me 20, 30, 40 sessions. So it can do some really amazing. And I would say it's almost magical, the way it feels.
So it pretty much escalates the rate of healing, it sounds like, to just super enhanced and super fast, which is pretty much what we all want. I mean, we don't want, if we're sick, at least speaking for myself, I don't want to have to spend many years, as so many people do who are sick with Lyme disease and other chronic conditions, just to feel better.
Right.
Like, I'm always searching for the things that are going to at least escalate my healing. So hypnosis is something that I have never tried.
Yeah.
Although I'm so into everything like it, I'm so excited to try it with you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think you're going to really love it. And there's a lot of research in this book, and there was even this a study from Ohio State University where they actually looked at white blood cell count, and in the subjects that learned this little practice that I'm going to show you, their white blood cell count went up. So it's actually measurable in your blood, like your immune system. You are healing yourself by using this practice, which I think is really phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so empowering to know that we can heal ourselves. Everything's happening on a subconscious level all the time.
Yeah.
We just forget that we have that kind of power within us.
And most of the information that we take in occurs on a subconscious level. There's only so much our conscious can take in when we're walking around the world talking. And so many things like I'm here in this room, and if I'm paying attention to it consciously, I guess I would notice that it's the paint color of that sort of nice pale green gray on your walls, and the height of the ceilings that are, and all these really cool things that you have around here. Crystals that are making me feel really relaxed and really comfortable. And I'm consciously paying attention to it. But usually all these things are happening on a subconscious level. So it's just sort of, in many ways, my program helps, or, my little protocol in this book helps people to become more aware of their subconscious. And even if you've never used hypnosis, you already have a subconscious brain that is working for you. Now we're just figuring out how to activate it and to use it in a more deliberate way for even greater effects.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the method in your book, the SVT method.
Yes.
Which I've been reading about, and it's so fascinating to me how simple it really is when you boil it all down to these visualization techniques that we can do.
Yeah.
So tell us so that everybody can start practicing it at home.
Yeah. So SVT is this tool that I created. It stands for Subconscious Visualization Technique. And there are 7 steps. So SVT is a little bit different because it sometimes, to just be quick, I say it's hypnosis, but actually there's a lot of different things in it. So step 1 is actually very cognitive behavioral therapy based. You're looking at the conscious thought patterns that get you into trouble. So there are 7 of these pitfall thought patterns. And let's use chronic pain, for example. We know that 2 of the thought patterns that really affect people with chronic pain are pessimistic thinking, that sort of worst case scenario, like, oh my God, what if this pain is so debilitating that I can't do anything with my life and I'm never going to be able to leave the house, right? We go down these thought spirals. Yes. And the other one is permanence, right? Where it's, the way that I feel now is always going to be this way, which leads to hopelessness, which depresses our immune system. Mm-hmm. So the first step is really looking at the cognitive, conscious thought patterns. Then there's 7 steps, and then you dip down, you start to activate the subconscious. There's a little bit of mindfulness in step 2 to start to slowly slow your brain down. And then I use something very hypnosis-based, which is that elevator that many people have probably heard of in movies. You see yourself going down this elevator. Then in step 3, you go back to your past. And that can be a couple different things. So for somebody who has PTSD, we're going to go back to a traumatic memory and we're going to delete it. For somebody with chronic pain, you could go back to a time when you felt really comfortable and carefree and your body felt cool or warm and lovely, to remind yourselves, to remind your brain and your body that you already have within you. Your brain knows how to feel good because, chronic pain becomes a feedback loop. And so it's really important to remind the brain that we have the ability to feel something else. Then you optimize the present with visualization. Then you move to the future to see yourself doing well and feeling healthy, to sort of give your brain this, a reminder of what it can create. And within there's a little bit of bilateral stimulation, which means activity on the left and right side of the body, which corresponds with the left and right hemispheres of your brain. So bringing both hemispheres of your brain online. People who are familiar there's a couple protocols. One's called EMDR and one's called accelerated resolution therapy that use that. My protocol uses bilateral stimulation, but also hypnosis. So it's really this, you get all of these protocols, all these different tools in one easy to use tool. Then you create a bridge so you can take something that you got into your waking conscious life. And then you come back up the elevator and you can really customize that. And of course, my book comes with all these audio tracks for different goals, people who are struggling with stress or anxiety or, healing the body, physical pain, insomnia. And of course, the tools are really custom for that specific goal that you want to achieve. So that's about it.
Wow. You just gave us so much good info in like a 5 minute like soundbite. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how did all of this information come into your head? What was the creative process of developing this technique?
Yeah. So this is hundreds, or I guess maybe at this point, thousands of hours of experimentation in my private practice. I'm trained in all of these modalities, and I just thought, why not really put them together? Because that's what I was doing. I was sort of, experimenting and weaving, which I do all the time. It's as a psychotherapist, I take from different models, and I sort of, I have a sense of what's going to help one person, right? And if something's not working, I'll go to something else. But I thought, wouldn't it be great to have this protocol that weaves all of these things together? So you're not choosing between cognitive behavioral therapy or hypnosis. You can get both, because I think that they all are effective. So I just started to slowly in my practice, I came up with this protocol that's really easy to memorize, which is important because in the beginning, you can read the scripts and you can listen to the audio tracks included with the book. But eventually, because it's 7 steps, which, it's pretty easy for people to remember after you've done it like 8 or 20 times, you can start to do it for yourself. And you can start to actually plant suggestions. And so instead of me telling you that you in your future are going to feel increasingly comfortable and pain-free and cool, and you'll be surprised at how easy it is for you to notice the places in the body where you feel the most comfortable, you can plant that suggestion for yourself, and you can make that suggestion customized to whatever you want to feel, planting your own mantra. Because we know from studies that the subconscious is very suggestible. Once the conscious brain comes online, we're very human, right? We like to argue with it.
Yes,
so somebody tells us something, it's like, well, that's not true. I feel lots of pain right now. And I think when it comes to something like Lyme disease or pain, our Western system, my partner's an ER doctor, and I always use this example because I think it really highlights something really important, and that is, if you're going to see him in the ER, it's really important to be symptom-based. It's really important to tell him what's wrong with you, because something may be killing you right now, and he needs to save your life.
Yes.
But in general, I think Western medicine is all symptom-based, which is actually slowly, whether we realize it or it's happening on a subconscious level, that we are actually looking for symptoms. So we are actually programming our minds to not look for the what's right in our body, but to look for the what's wrong. And when it comes to the brain, seek and ye shall find, because there's a phenomenon in the brain called selective attention. So if we are, we see all these drug commercials and it's like, are you sad? Well, I guess I am sad, because we're looking for moments in our life, in our lives where we feel sad. And so, while symptom-based medicine can be important, what my tool does is to help step out of that and start to program the brain to look for the places where you're going to feel comfort, where you're going to feel ease, where you're going to feel free, or spiritually, the places where you feel joy, not looking for the places in our lives where we feel anxious or stress, or I know you struggle with insomnia, so looking for that moment of, oh, I'm not falling asleep right away, I must feel really stressed right now.
Exactly. And then panicking about not falling asleep, which then ends up keeping me awake more than just the original insomnia itself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Because we're always, like you mentioned with the commercial, if we see something, we start thinking about it, and then we start attracting it into our life. So the visualization is kind of just like thinking of those positive things so that we can attract those positive things and that healing.
Exactly right. I know you have a special thing with 201, right?
I do. Yes.
I listen to your podcast.
Yes,
so I know.
This makes me so happy.
And so what are you doing when you look for that 201? It's sort of like keeping a coincidence journal where you're looking for things that are affirming something good in you, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have programmed your brain to look for the good. So when you start a podcast at 2:01, you say, oh my gosh, everyone, I just started that.
Right.
I didn't mean to.
I was just going to say, did we? But no, it's a little past that. But we just passed 333, which is one of my favorite numbers.
And so isn't it incredible that we can start to look for the evidence that things are right, or that there is an order in the universe, or what I always say, that our subconscious is always looking out for us, that it's always conspiring in our favor, or maybe the universe universe is conspiring in your favor. And if you look for evidence of that, I think people will start to feel happier rather than looking for all of the things that go wrong.
Exactly. Yes. It's just what you pay attention to.
Yeah.
So what is your spiritual practice like?
Yeah. So I consider myself sort of a universalist. I really believe I have some religious beliefs, but it's not constrained. I'm very open.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I believe that spirituality is really important. I did a training at, I treat a lot of addiction as well. I trained at Betty Ford, and I will never forget when they added the word spiritual. So in a lot of the literature, a lot of the training when I went to graduate school, it was biopsychosocial treatment. When I went to Betty Ford, it's no, it's biopsychosocial spiritual.
Oh, I like that.
And I think that's so important that the spiritual practice is part of the healing. And, I think for me, it's looking at the practices that help me to, whatever you call that, source, God, higher power. And for me, I feel like all spiritual practices and even religious practices, it's kind of like we're all trying to communicate the same message, but we all speak different languages.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
The more I've started looking into all the different world religions, I start seeing this is all the exact same thing.
Right.
People just call God something different or the universe something different. Exactly.
Yeah. And isn't it so nice to sort of be Unitarian in that way, to sort of look at what we have in common rather than looking for the things that make us different, And I think that there are, I'm getting into something really interesting, which is altered state psychotherapy. So ketamine-assisted psychotherapy and ketamine-assisted hypnotherapy.
I've been doing ketamine IVs with my Lyme doctor.
And how is it for you?
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
I've only done 2.
Okay.
I'm really, really interested to do more.
Yep.
So the first time I did it, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
It just took me to a place. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And you can tell us the science of ketamine, but I see how it can rewire the brain if you're stuck in one of those pessimistic loops that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to be sick and not get stuck on this pessimism loop of I'm sick. And even if your body's healing, your mind doesn't believe it.
That's right.
Someone like me, I've been sick for 10 years.
Yeah.
So how would my mind ever be able to believe if I was even starting to feel better?
Yeah. And ketamine helped you to get out of that feedback loop. And what's so interesting about hypnosis and ketamine is it creates a dissociative state, which means your body's here, hooked up to an IV, or you're sitting here in this chair in front of me, but your mind goes somewhere else. And when we can step out of ourselves and we can facilitate that with hypnosis, we can facilitate that with ketamine, it provides a really unique opportunity so that we're not trapped by the conscious mind and the ego. And we can kind of experience consciousness that's unbound. And then, there's a lot of doctors that are now doing these ketamine IVs, but now I think a real opportunity is CAP, which is ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. So taking that
super interesting
and mixing it with this rewiring, and I want to do some experiments and use my protocol while people are under really light, sublingual ketamine. But even for people that can't afford or don't meet their requirements to have ketamine therapy, you can create that state with hypnosis, which is really fascinating. I do these Hay House live events around the country, and I do these day-long workshops based on my book. And so I helped people to have an out-of-body experience with hypnosis, because there's research that shows that you can do that because of the way hypnosis rewires the brain. And so I think we're moving in this direction. I'm obsessed right now. It's like my new obsession, psychedelic assisted psychology, because it's just, I think we can do, and hypnosis too, we can do what used to take 50 sessions in one session. Right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
we can help people to really feel better, like you, right? For you to actually feel good. It's like, oh, there's hope. Oh my gosh, that's amazing,
that
right?
excites me so much.
Yeah.
So psychedelic assisted therapy with ketamine or with anything else specifically?
Ketamine, and I'm also really excited. Phase 3 trials are underway right now. So chances are, by like 2021, we'll have MDMA and also psilocybin assisted psychotherapy.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've had some pretty amazing healing experiences with psychedelics.
Yep.
Not like in a psychotherapy type of situation, which I think would be even more incredible.
Yep.
And like when that happens, I definitely want to do that with you.
All
like
right.
sign me up.
Deal.
Because it's just expanded my mind and just taken me back to a state of pure oneness and just knowing I came here to this earth, to this body to be healthy, to be happy, to explore my passions, to be creative, to love life.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, I had forgotten that. And when you're sick, of course you forget that because you're just living in your misery.
Yeah. Oh God, I can feel your energy right now when you talked about that. I could feel how true that was for you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was so miserable. It was so hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was always such a grateful person and I've had so much to be thankful for. Amazing family, the best fiance, the best friends, the best job where I get to do this. So I wasn't entirely miserable, but I was pretty miserable because I felt so awful from being so sick.
And that makes sense. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah. So then these psychedelics have changed my life.
Yeah.
And also ayahuasca. I don't know if any science on that or anything, but that's been really
we know
healing.
That DMT and ayahuasca, they all these psychedelics have a lot in common. And we know that they increase neuroplasticity. They, there's a pruning effect as we get older. We all sort of start, it's said that when we're infants, it's like our brains are on psychedelics. That's what a child's brain is like.
It reminds me of being a child. Yeah.
And then because an adult brain, there's so much information that we have to make sense of as adults, and our brains are trying to make sense of all that. So, the brain starts pruning and the connections become very sort of rigid. And what psychedelics do is it allows this opportunity for, instead of it following these pathways that it's used to following, it allows the brain to sort of, all these connections pop back up. So we don't receive information in the same way. And if we can create new connections, especially if your brain has been wired to in a negative state, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, Lyme disease, our brains start to create these loops. And sometimes if they're not making us feel well, we have to create something totally different. We have to step outside of that because the self-limiting beliefs that are part of depression, in all of these conditions, especially the depression, it's the brain starts to whittle away and die. It's like the hippocampus shrinks. It stops believing in the power of possibility. So, to use, all of these, and, I really believe that hypnosis is also an altered state.
Yeah, totally.
So it really is one of the very few things that you can use if you want to create a psychedelic-like effect in the brain. You can use hypnosis.
Okay, guys, just a brief interruption to talk about our second sponsor for today's episode, OSEA Malibu. I'm so excited to share this company with you. I've been using their skincare for many years now. They were actually a part of an event that I co-hosted or hosted at Credo Beauty a couple years ago. So if any of you were there, you might remember OSEA Malibu. They were there doing facials and masks. And I just love them. I love that they're local to Malibu. My favorite place, the place where I'm setting the vision and intention to live with Jonathan and our future children. OSEA is an incredible plant-based, results-driven skincare line. You can use the code BLONDE on their website, which we'll put in the show notes, to get you a free travel-size bottle of your choice with your purchase of $40 or more. So be sure to add the travel size to your cart in order for the offer to reflect, and it will just come right off when you use the code BLONDE. BLONDE. A couple things that are amazing about OSEA. They're pure safe and effective. And we know I only put completely pure things on my skin, plant-based and from the earth. All of their products were formulated with sensitive skin in mind. All skin concerns included, from acne to hives to eczema, everything that I have suffered from. They make their products infused with sustainably sourced, organic Patagonian seaweed and active botanicals, which makes me think of the ocean and makes me so happy. All of their products are nutrient and mineral rich, bioavailable, and that bioavailable base allows the products to easily absorb into our skin and effectively target multiple skin concerns. So a few different things that they can do. They can help reveal and illuminate your natural radiance, whether you're looking for hydration, oil balancing, anti-aging, or solutions for blemishes. Their packaging is non-toxic. So what you need from this non-toxic plant-based skincare line is their Ocean Mud. I'm obsessed with it. Ocean Cleansing Mud. It's for oily skin. It's kind of like a mask and it feels so good on the skin. They also have an Ocean Cleansing Milk, which sounds as nourishing and delicious for the skin as you could possibly imagine. They have so many different oils for the skin, and I have such a new appreciation for botanical oils now after spending so much time with plant medicine and just soaking in the medicine of the plants and the earth. So be sure to shop OSEAMalibu.com. Use the code BLONDE, fall in love. Check out the Ocean Cleansing Milk and the Ocean Cleansing Mud, and send me pictures when you try on Instagram, and know that you're supporting a company that is mission driven and super kind people. They also have a skincare quiz that you can take on their website. So head there. Love them. Non-toxic and amazing. So should we do a little mini hypnosis right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
So what's, give me, maybe we won't do like a full practice because I can take people down a rabbit hole for an hour. So maybe how long should we use?
Well, we have time. Whatever you're comfortable doing. If you want to do something for like
10 or 15 minutes?
Like 15 minutes.
Okay,
and
great.
then we can go back into talking about you and learning about you.
Perfect.
Okay,
and
cool.
Let's set a mini intention for you today. What would you like to achieve?
Gosh, my intention would be, I'm just starting to get my energy back.
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple weeks of starting to feel a bit healthier for the first time in so long.
Oh,
So
yay.
my intention is to just manifest more energy.
Yeah.
That energy feels so good.
Great.
And I sense, sorry to keep going on. I
No,
sense fear like deep inside myself that the energy is going to go away. So my intention is to get rid of that fear, eliminate that fear.
This is great. This is perfect.
Okay.
Anything else?
And just create more of that energy and just take myself out of that loop that I've been in of believing I'm sick. I have Lyme disease. Lyme disease is very hard to cure. Some people never heal. Maybe I'll never have energy again. All those negative loops.
Pessimistic and permanence are the two that I hear there, which is very common for anyone struggling with any sort of disease. So,
totally.
So yeah. All right. I think we have a really great intention here. So Jordan, why don't you I'm going to take this book from you so you can get really relaxed and just sort of notice as you keep the eyes open to begin, just sort of begin to notice that your body already knows how to relax. The head can relax, the temples can relax, the shoulders can relax. And isn't it so interesting that the hands kind of know the right place to go to relax? Your legs are crossed, so you're already sort of sitting in this really relaxed and comfortable state. And just sort of start to pay attention to, as the eyelids can become heavy now and sort of having a half gaze, following my finger now, almost like you're looking past the finger and the eyes can begin to stop focusing. And isn't it so nice to know that you can now become aware of thoughts themselves? But I wonder if you can bring some mindfulness to that pessimistic thinking, to that permanence, and just greet all of those thoughts with an, I see you. And even now, you are beginning to slow down the brain from conscious beta into relaxed alpha. And isn't it so nice to know that you have that ability and that thoughts and feelings aren't facts? So you can see those thoughts and those feelings, the thought of Lyme is so hard to cure, and you can see the fear, and yet you don't have to believe them. And in just a moment, but not quite yet, in just a moment, but not quite yet, I'm going to take you even deeper. And what's so wonderful for most people who experience hypnosis and activating their own subconscious is that those automatic thoughts usually begin to disappear completely so that we can begin to rewire the brain in an even more profound way. And I'm watching your breathing now, and it's already become more regular and slow. And I'm going to wait for this next inhale here. And now roll the eyes up, follow my finger, and hold that breath up. Hold it, hold it. That's right. Hold, hold, hold. And now allow the eyes to close as you exhale. And now just allow the eyes to become neutral. And now, Jordan, in your mind's eye, you can see an elevator in front of you. That's right. And already I see just a hint of eyelid flutter, which tells me that you are already activating the subconscious. That's right. That's right. Perfect. And you can see yourself boarding that elevator. And it's almost as if you can use the paintbrush of your mind's eye to feel your right foot and now your left foot stepping into that elevator and hearing the crunch of that carpet. And you can see yourself pressing the number 1 with your right finger. That's right. And now you're going to use the power of your imagination in your mind's eye to feel yourself going down this elevator, becoming twice as relaxed on every floor. 12, 11, 10, deeply, deeply calm. 9, 8, 7, deeply, deeply relaxed, almost halfway there now. And you've only just begun doing so wonderfully already. 6, 5, 4, deeply, deeply dreamy. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. That's right. That's right. And you can see with your mind's eye that that elevator is opening. And Jordan, using the paintbrush of your mind's eye to see and hear and even taste everything that you can picture with your mind's eye. And I see that the breathing is even slower now and just a bit more flutter in the eyelids, telling me that you already know how to achieve that theta brainwave. And so enhance that by painting any picture that you like. And I'd like you to see, and I wonder what memory your subconscious will find. And you are seeing yourself stepping out into a memory on that first day, just a few days ago, when you noticed my energy is back. My energy is back. And what did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel in the body? What did you smell? What did you taste that helped you to know that that was occurring? And isn't it so nice to know? And isn't it so wonderful to give yourself that experience? Because in many ways, hypnosis in your subconscious tricks the brain into thinking that anything you are painting with your mind's eye right now is actually occurring. Isn't that so nice to know? And in doing so, yes, that's right. What you are doing is you are rewiring the brain. You are rewiring the body. Because in these feedback loops, whatever that feedback loop is, whatever you tend to look for, your mind will tend to find. And it creates pathways, not only in the brain, but also in the body. And beliefs are potent. So whatever you believe is what you will tend to find more of. And isn't it so nice to know that what you are seeing here in your mind's eye, Jordan, is this abundance of energy and healing. And I don't know exactly what you are seeing or tasting or hearing in your mind's eye, that memory of what it felt like to know that, yes, my energy is returning, which is, of course, evidence that you are already healing, which is, of course, the brain and body's natural state. Yes, that's right. With that exhale, my body is a healing system. My body is a healing system. My body is a healing system. That's right. And armed with that energy, allow yourself to float back in your mind's eye to a memory that you'd like to get rid of. That's right. Your mind can find any memory at all. Perhaps it was an initial diagnosis or a time in your life that you'd like to forget about, at least in the parts of your brain that store memories in a visceral way, in an emotional way. And I'd like you to imagine now that you're in a movie theater and you're going to paint over those memories, almost like you are deleting them from your memory in the parts of the brain, in the emotional centers of the brain that store them in a potent, powerful way. Isn't it so nice to know that by accessing the theta brainwave, you can actually press delete? And so what I'd like you to do is load a film roll up that you are about to broadcast on a movie theater screen that's in front of you. And instead of playing it, I want you to imagine that you're going to paint over it with a color that signifies healing and comfort to you. Pressing play now on 3, 2, 1. And now with that exhale, just allow that to float away. Inhale and exhale. That's right. That's right. Exhale so deeply. Perfect. And with that painted over, you can now float forward and you can now use some visualization. This is you in your present state, and you can see yourself walking forward, and you come upon a magnificent tree. And this tree has deep roots, and this tree has beautiful branches. And you step inside that tree because you realize that here in the subconscious, where things don't have to make literal sense, that tree is you. And yes, Jordan, you have gone through so many things, haven't you? You have survived winters. Yes, that's right. Some winters that have swept away the branches of vitality and hope. And you can feel the roots in your family and in your spiritual practice and yoga and all of the things, your fiance and love, that have helped you to remain calm and grounded. It's almost like you can feel those roots, can't you? Yes, that's right. That's right. But we all know what happens after winter, don't we? Trees can survive storms of Lyme, storms of periods of energy that was less than ideal. And now you can visualize this tree that is you in springtime. And it's almost as if you can feel your branches growing. And I don't know what each leaf and each flower represents to you. Perhaps it's energy. Perhaps it's health. And it's almost as if you can feel yourself healing, and you can feel the buds and leaves of energy beginning to bloom and multiply on the branches of you. And I don't know exactly what you'll do with the abundance of all the flowers that will bloom that you can actually feel, but it will be so wonderful to find out. And now in your mind's eye, you can see yourself moving forward. And I want you to see a crystal ball in front of you. And this crystal ball is going to show you something, an image, something that will give you hope to help you know that yes, this energy, this health is only going to continue to grow and get bigger and better, like a snowball running down a mountain. And so that crystal ball, as I count from 5 to 1, is going to show you an image or a group of images, something that you have to look forward to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Seeing that image now. Isn't it so nice to see and experience that? All of the wonderful, healthy, energetic memories that you have to look forward to. That's right. That's right. Perfect. And now one more thing in our last few minutes here. In your mind's eye, you can imagine that you have a control panel, and this control panel is in your brain. And I want you to see yourself opening up that control panel. And you see yourself walking in with a tool belt, and you see a dial. And that dial is labeled energy. And in your mind's eye, I want you to begin to turn that dial up 1 click, 2 clicks, 4 clicks now, 5, 6. And if you dare, if you delight to dare, turning that dial up as much as it will go and noticing what it feels like in the brain and in the body to have that at max. And isn't it also nice to know that you have the ability to return to this control room at any time that you'd like? That's right. Yes, that's right. And there's another dial. As you're turning up the dial for energy, there's another dial, something negative that you'd like to get rid of. And I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe it's fatigue or pain. And as you're turning up the dial for energy, you can see yourself turning down that other dial. I'm not sure exactly what that dial is, and it really doesn't matter because your subconscious does. And you can know what it's like to turn up that dial for energy and turning down that dial for something that you'd like to get rid of, that old programming, that old feedback loop that you have the ability to step out of at any time. Our brains are prediction machines, and these machines tend to make predictions and assumptions about what we've recently experienced. But we all know, don't we, with the beginner's mind of a child, that what has been doesn't mean that's what will always be. And that is the error of our brains and our thinking. So in many ways, all of your thoughts of permanence and of pessimism were actually errors in your brain's wiring. Because a brain isn't the ultimate reality. Our brains are not God. I like to think of brains as transistor radios that are heeding the spiritual radio waves of something divine or something greater. And it's almost like you can feel that, can't you? Source, divine love, whatever that is for you. And now, Jordan, I want you to deepen one more time so that the suggestions I'm about to give you will be planted deep. Imagining that you're sinking even deeper in that elevator as I count backwards from 7 to 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My energy will continue to get better and better. My energy will continue to get better and better. My energy will continue to get better and better. I will notice the places in my body where I feel cool and calm and comfortable. I will notice the places in my body where I feel cool and calm and comfortable. I will begin to notice more and more the places in my body where I feel cool and calm and comfortable. I can see and feel and hear evidence of me getting better and better each and every day in each and every way. I can experience and feel and taste my body getting better each and every way, each and every day. I know that I am getting better each and every way, each and every day. And I don't know when you'll notice that these changes, that this rewiring has already taken place. Perhaps it will be this afternoon or sometime at 2:01 p.m. next Thursday. But there will be a place in your future where something in this practice sticks and you will notice it. And that abundance will continue to grow. And now take the one thing that you got from this practice. It could be an energy, a reminder, a thought, a feeling. And imagine that it's moving down your dominant arm. And now you can imagine in your mind's eye that you're holding it in your dominant fist. And now imagine that all of that energy is intensifying and it's being placed into your dominant index finger, just at the tip. And in the future, whenever you need a little boost of this energy or whatever it is that you found, all you need to do in your conscious waking life is to press your thumb against that dominant finger. And that energy or abundance or whatever you found in this practice will come surging back. Isn't that so nice to know? That's right. Yes. And you can come here back into this healing space, into this practice whenever you'd like. And every time you use it, it will become more and more effective. Now seeing that elevator that brought you down here, and now seeing yourself pressing the number 12. By the time you reach 12, your eyes will open fully, and now you're feeling yourself moving up, becoming awake and alert and rejuvenated. 1, 2, 3, feeling so alive, so energetic. 4, 5, 6, giving a little wiggle to your fingers and toes. 7, 8, 9, feeling so rejuvenated, alert and awake. 10, 11, eyes open. 12.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
How was that for you?
I barely even have words. That was very incredible. That was so vivid.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad. I saw your eyes starting to flutter right away. So that tells me you're pretty hypnotizable. So that's great.
Yeah, I feel like I am.
Yeah, and
but
I saw that
wasn't
smile
always.
too.
So I know that I've come a long way with being able to surrender.
Yeah.
I see how you have healed people from chronic conditions.
Yeah.
That was very powerful.
Did you see anything beautiful that gave you hope, or did you see that control dial in your mind?
I saw everything.
You did? Oh, that's so great.
It was the most visual experience, like painting over the negative memories. I chose the color purple. Well, it wasn't even a choice. It was just like I saw.
You knew
purple.
It was purple, yeah.
And purple has been a theme in my meditations lately, and it just is a healing color in my mind. So I felt that. And then when I was bringing all that good energy down my right arm and into my index finger, it was like the color purple.
Yeah.
But
it
symbolized everything that I saw with the tree and the roots and this like beautiful meadow with just memories, like beautiful memories that are either from my life or from my dream life, like my dream state. These places that I go, maybe they're past lives. I'm into all that stuff. So who knows?
I mean, this is how most people, if you do believe in past lives, this would be the way to access them.
I feel like I saw one. I saw this where the tree was that you were talking about, this meadow.
Yeah.
That it was like a remembrance of some kind of very happy memory from a past life where I was living
That's beautiful.
by this meadow in a farm, maybe in like the middle of America or maybe a different country. I don't even know, with someone that I loved. And it was so happy.
Yeah.
And I actually got this sense that whatever that was, like missing that in this life was kind of causing part of making me sick.
That turmoil. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And isn't it so nice to know that, that image that you got, that total freedom, you have just, in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you rewired your brain in that practice. And it's like you are waking up those pathways that were like, that were forgotten. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I already have that within me. I know how to be healthy.
Yeah. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
I can see how, first of all, your voice is perfect for this.
Thanks.
I bet everybody listening will agree that your voice is the exact voice that I want to hypnotize me.
Thank you.
Very, very calming, yet very strong.
Yeah.
I was thinking so many things. I was thinking that this experience with psychedelics would be just so healing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's healing on its own. Don't get me wrong. I just mean for deep healing.
Yep.
I love that that's something that you're exploring and that you're studying because I'm just so happy that people are scientifically studying these things that I know from a totally non-scientific standpoint have helped me.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful
that
you're doing this work, and
I think we need it. I think we need it. I think this next generation of psychedelic assisted therapy, hypnosis, it's just, there are people suffering out there. And I don't think, I think nutrition is the answer. I think nature is the answer. And I think this kind of, short, you take a drug a couple times with psychotherapy in tandem to rewire your brain versus a lifetime of, let's say, Xanax, right?
Yeah.
It's like, which one would you choose?
Totally.
It's just so incredible. I mean, there are certain medications that certain people need, but we're seeing that with these altered states, again, whether it's hypnosis or now legally ketamine. You can actually go to Amsterdam and take psilocybin legally. And there's actually one place that does like 3-day workshops. So it's sort of like psychedelic assisted therapy legally,
cool.
But it's happening already here at prestigious university hospitals. And I've read the studies and they're just mind-boggling how effective they are. I mean, for psilocybin, it's for people with terminal cancer, and it's like their anxiety disappears. I mean, can you imagine having stage 4 cancer and saying that, okay, at the end of today, like your anxiety is going to go away?
Yeah,
and it's like,
that is
no,
amazing.
that's not. It can't go away. Like I have terminal cancer,
right?
And people are reporting like, oh, my anxiety. Like I feel so at one with something, God, universe, spiritual. I have this aha moment that fear of death even goes away. And if we can get rid of the fear of dying, the fear of death for a human being, and to get out of that ego mind into something that's connected, it's like, wow, no wonder these studies are so effective. And no wonder they're moving on to phase 3 trials, which hopefully that'll mean by 2021 or 22, we'll have that available to all people here in the United States.
And a quick thank you to our third sponsor of today's episode, Fern Brand. We all know that I'm obsessed with Silver Fern, so much so that I'm actually creating a product with them, with their founder, Charity Lighton, and the amazing Kelly, who works with them as well. This is a product that I have wanted to create for so long, and I just figured they would be the perfect people to partner with, as they know what's up with creating products that are good for our bodies, good for our gut, good for our skin, good for our digestion, good for our healing journeys. The list goes on. So definitely listen to episode 106 of this podcast with Charity Lighton, the founder and chief nutritionist of Fern Brand, to learn all about digestive health, probiotics, why gut health is important, and why Silver Fern probiotics work more than and better than any other probiotic on the market. There's a reason why I have turned my family onto Silver Fern, myself onto Silver Fern, and basically everyone that I talk to about this, because they're just the best. I also use their prebiotic fiber every day. I put it into my smoothie, and I just found out that my mom and my mom's best friend, Sherry, are using it every day too, which makes me happier than words can say to spread the love of Silver Fern. I love their plant-based protein powders, chocolate and vanilla. I also love their kids' stuff. I bought it for my nieces and gifted it to them, and I hope they're incorporating it into their life. I can only hope, because children's gut health is super important too, of course. So be sure to use the code BLONDE, BLONDE, at silverfernbrand.com to shop all things Silver Fern and fall in love with them and their mission through listening to the podcast episode with Charity. And enjoy. Snap me photos when you try. And that code BLONDE is a nice big discount for you. So enjoy, and back into this episode with Mike. I see how the anxiety would go away, because I've had experiences myself that have totally diminished the fear of death, that make me very excited for that day to come in very healthy old age after a wonderful life, because I just believe so deeply in something greater.
Yeah,
where our consciousness always lives.
Me too.
And the cool thing about your work is that we can access that all the time. We can access that happy feeling.
Yeah.
People don't have to be depressed or anxious or sick for life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel so calm now,
I'm
by
so
the
glad.
way. I feel so good.
I mean, it's basically, and by the way, I know you probably have an infrared with a Bluetooth, right?
I do.
So you can listen to my tracks in the infrared sauna.
Oh, nice.
Because we know that the infrared sauna takes you from that, sympathetic nervous system into parasympathetic rest and digest, which is what hypnosis does. So when you put the two of those together, you can really have even more powerful results, right?
Oh my God.
It really is just a changing of the guard from that fight or flight down into that rest and digest. And of course, then we use hypnosis to go even deeper and to rewire these brain structures and do all sorts of sort of magical things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm going to do that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the niacin, I think, do a sauna, listen to your meditation, hypnosis.
You'll go into like a really profound altered state, I think.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So you've been doing some exciting things lately, just totally switching gears.
Yeah.
You were on The Real Housewives of Orange County last week.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun. So I filmed it last week. It should air, I think, sometime this summer, The Real Housewives of Orange County. And two of the housewives, I hypnotized them. I used my protocol, SVT, with them. They were both having different issues. One of them was having sort of some issues. Kelly was having some issues that she wanted help with. I can't say yet.
We love Kelly.
Yeah, I love Kelly. She's very sweet. And then Emily was having some issues in her family and her relationship. And so I used this protocol with both of them to help heal. And I think people are going to be really surprised to see both women in tears, when they use this, because it's that profound.
Yeah.
You can really access when you stop talking and when your conscious gets a chance to shut that down and do a practice and go inward. Both of them were in tears once they got into that state, and they both got some really profound aha moments. And then I also did a wonderful episode of Dr. Oz that'll air in June. And that one was profound because they found a woman who had really bad chronic lower back pain after giving birth. And she'd never done hypnosis before. They gave me 15 minutes. And this is so funny. So I do hypnosis. I use my protocol with her to rewire the brain. And I had her scale on a scale of 0 to 10. Where's your lower back pain right now? She's like 9. I'm like, okay, so it's pretty bad. Let's see what we can do. 10 minutes. They filmed it before they backstage in a room like this size. 10 minutes. Had her come up. Where's your pain now? She said, oh my God, 0. She's like, wait a minute. She's like, I need to stand up. She's like, I need to make sure. And and on camera, she goes, holy shit. She's like, that's incredible. And then, of course, we went on and taped the episode that day.
Yeah.
And she talked to Dr. Oz about how, like, even, 2 hours later, her pain went from a 9 to a 0 using the power of her mind.
That's
our
crazy.
minds can heal our brains. Our minds can heal our body.
Right.
What's really incredible with chronic pain, hypnosis is one of the only practices that changes top-down processing in the brain, which essentially means, we have all of this information that we're receiving from the outside world that's coming in from the bottom up. And then there's another signal that's coming down to meet that signal from the top down, like from the brain down the spinal cord. And you can tell the brain to change the top-down processing. So you can tell the brain, you will no longer notice signals coming from your back, or you will notice only the signals coming from the back that feel comfortable. So you can actually sort of trick the brain into not receiving a signal of pain, which means you're basically creating this negative hallucination that something that should be there is no longer there using the power of your mind. And there's been all these, brain scan studies to prove that that's what hypnosis can do. So it's no wonder that she was able to, with me in 10 minutes, have her chronic pain go from a 9 to a 0.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to do that with my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm always feeling all this shoulder pain.
Yeah.
But I can see very much how that would work.
And you can take that dial and you can imagine that you're turning the dial for relaxation down. And as you do, you can see in your mind's eye like butter melting down your shoulders. And then you can just, you can create whatever wiring and messaging you want with this tool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what has been like, that's probably one of them, but like one of the most profound healing stories that you've been a part of?
Yeah. There's so many because, what I love about this tool is it works not only for psychological goals, but also physical ones. So I think some of the physical transformations to me are the most profound because they're usually people who've tried just about every treatment under the sun. And I think, I already shared with you that chronic pain story and the PTSD story. I think IBS, like digestive woes, like some people, they have debilitating IBS.
Yeah.
And, through a visualization, I've helped some some people to really rewire their digestive tract. Using this visualization, the protocol usually involves visualizing a slide that's sort of like your poop chute, right? And if you have diarrhea, you imagine that slide is slowing down. If you have constipation, it's like you see in your mind's eye like a slide, and things are moving easily down that slide, which of course is your mind's way of visualizing, what's going on inside your body. And I've helped people to just rewire that. And we know in study after study, for something like IBS, that hypnosis is more effective than prescription medication. And every study that they do this, they repeat the study. And I think that, to me, is that wow moment of something that we don't think that is in our conscious control, because it's not in your conscious's control. It's in your subconscious's control.
Yeah.
So you can't speak the language of the conscious and say, slow down digestion. Your body's not going to listen to that. But if you can paint an image using the language of your subconscious, and there's a part of the brain called the insula that is affected by hypnosis, and we think that's why hypnosis can affect bodily functions that are involuntary, like digestion. And if you can paint a picture that's in the language of the subconscious, your body starts to listen to it, which I think to me is kind of like, oh, that's so trippy. That's so weird. That's so cool, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of my moments where I'm always just perplexed and amazed.
That's a really amazing one.
Yeah.
Then for those of us with Lyme disease specifically, what would be your biggest recommendation? Like, what could we do every single day to just keep healing?
I would say to start with that mantra. Some of the mantras that I gave you that I repeated 3 times, we know they're a little bit more effective when we give them to you in a subconscious state, but you can also give them to yourself in a conscious state as well, especially after you've done that work that you and I just did, that little practice. I think it's really, when you get out of bed and you place your feet on the ground, telling yourself, I wonder when I'm going to experience the most comfort today. So you're priming the brain to start to look for, using the power of selective attention, which is what hypnosis can do, but you can also do it consciously. I wonder when I'm going to feel great today. And you're actually looking not for when you feel bad, but when you feel great. If we could all start that day with, I wonder when I'm going to notice that I'm feeling better and better and healing today. And then you're actually looking around your day, like looking for the evidence that you're getting better. And you're probably going to find more than one, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that is a great little mini hack that anybody living with Lyme can use to start to shift their body into that healing state, which actually creates more healing physically, but it all starts in the mind, and it starts with what we tell ourselves. And it starts with taking away those self-limiting beliefs, that pessimistic thinking, that permanence that can actually be the roadblock to prevent healing from taking place.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
Have you healed yourself from anything?
Oh, yeah. Migraines. So I had pretty debilitating migraines. I went to, my partner did his residency and worked in the ER at UCLA. So I went to, I got a really super fancy referral to like the best doctor at the headache migraine clinic at UCLA. And, 3 medications, no effect. I usually don't like to take that many medications, but there was a time, this was right when I was when I was studying, doing my training in hypnosis. I had pretty debilitating like left hemisphere migraines. And now I'm feeling good. I mean, I used to have migraines every day, and now they're gone. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And the research supports that. My hypnosis is probably the most effective treatment for migraines when they compare them against prescription medication. So
I get migraines too.
Yeah.
So this is mind-blowing information for me. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And I know everybody listening, so many of my listeners have, similar to me, migraines, autoimmune issues, insomnia, IBS, all these things that you're talking about.
The autoimmune conditions really respond well to hypnosis. It's like hypnosis was made for those conditions as a treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How helpful.
Yeah.
How have I not discovered this until meeting you? This is amazing.
Well, and there was a time when hypnosis kind of went away. It was really popular, decades ago, and then it kind of fell out of favor. But now these recent studies, the New York Times has done, 5 or 6 articles on hypnosis lately, because these brain scan studies, and I mean, heck, I have scans of my own brain in my book where it's really supporting this thing that people thought was like woo-woo or like that doesn't really work. And it's like, oh, no, it works like way better than any sort of conscious tool that we have.
Wow.
Yeah.
So helpful. So for everybody listening, where can they find you?
My website, drmikedow.com, DRMIKEDOW, which has links to all my good stuff, my Insta and all that stuff.
Are your meditations, or I keep calling them that, hypnosis?
Yeah, they're like SVT tracks. So you'll find, and on my website is something else I love that I should have brought it for you next time. This audio visual entrainment device, which with light and sound puts your brain instantly into theta. So for anybody who struggles with hypnosis, you can see a picture of that device. And then you can also get the first chapter of my book for free on my website. And then once you get the book, no matter the form, whether it's the ebook or the hardcover, at the back of the book, you'll see a link for all of the audio tracks. Which of course that's like the juicy stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
something we can use every day.
I mean, the research is great, but at the end of the day, people want the practice.
Yeah.
So you get a link no matter which form of the book you get with all the good stuff, those SVT tracks that you can listen to.
That's so amazing. And a question that I ask everyone who comes on, if you were a color, what color do you feel best represents your energy?
Yeah, I'm blue-gray. Because it's sort of like
shirt.
my baby blue
That's
shirt.
Very blue. It's pretty.
Because for me, blue is sort of, especially like this shade is very, my blue rubber watch I'm wearing and my blue shoes.
Yeah, those are nice.
And my blue hat. It sort of represents this vibrant energy, but for me, it's like this blue-gray because I think it's also, when I see the color blue-gray, it kind of has like this very spiritual undertone to it. So it's like this vibrancy. I mean, you see my energy. I'm very energetic.
You are.
But I also have this undercurrent that to me kind of feels very peaceful, like a stream. So when I see the color blue-gray, that feels like me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Jordan. I really appreciate it.
Very fun. I learned so much and I have to work with you.
Yes.
I have to.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode with the amazing Dr. Mike Dow. I learned so much. I don't even know where to begin. I'm going to read his book again to keep devouring his knowledge. I hope that you guys really learned some new stuff today about hypnosis and visualization, the power of our subconscious and our minds. So beautiful. We have the power to heal our lives and our souls. Our souls know exactly what to do. We can rewire our brains. His work reminds me so much of the healing work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, which has totally been a game changer for me, and so many other really powerhouses in this field of holistic healing, but science-based holistic healing. And I hope that many of you have learned some new techniques for healing, whether you're going through chronic illness like myself, or depression or anxiety or anything else that you suffer from. My heart goes out to you, and you're not alone, and you can heal. There's so much hope and so much beautiful healing awaiting you. So check out his book, Your Subconscious Brain Can Change Your Life. I definitely encourage you to listen to this hypnosis exercise that we did, maybe again, if you were doing something the first time, or multitasking, which I think many of us or all of us do when we listen to podcasts. So maybe there's another time that you can really sit with that and let it soak into your mind and your heart. And thank you to our sponsors for today's show. We have Thrive Market, the online marketplace where I'm always shopping, that you can go to thrivemarket.com/blonde to get that incredible discount and check them out. We have OSEA Malibu as a new sponsor. Love them dearly. Use the code BLONDE for a free travel-sized bottle of anything that you would like on OSEAMalibu.com with a purchase of $40 or more. And then silverfernbrand.com for my favorite probiotics and plant-based protein powder. Use the code BLONDE there. And just wanted to remind you that if you feel inspired to rate and review the podcast, I would absolutely love and be so honored for you to do that. And I will send you my Soul on Fire yoga ebook, almost 300 pages of yoga flow and goodness that I created a couple years ago and poured my heart and soul into. I will send it to you as a free gift if you email me a screenshot of your rating and review and subscription to the Balanced Blonde podcast. And also, I just hope everyone has the most Soul on Fire day. Join our Soul on Fire podcast tribe on Facebook to keep the conversation going and meet friends from all over the world. And just hang out with me there, and Instagram. Come say hi on the Balanced Blonde and TBB podcast. And I'm so happy to be in touch and to have you here. To be healing together and evolving together and growing together is such a gift. Love you guys so much. Chat soon. Have a wonderful day. Mwah.